Hello and welcome to today's episode of Silk and Soil. Today I'm gonna go into some ways to reconnect with yourself, like in the midst of motherhood, and I'll tell you some little 5 little ways that I just reconnect with myself more or less on a daily basis. But before I just go into that, within motherhood, where we're taking care of literally everyone around us, usually not only our children, it's our husbands, the house, the animals. We are absolutely responsible essentially for everyone and putting everyone's needs in front of ourselves. And because of that, a lot of times we feel completely disconnected from ourselves, our own needs, our own wants. It's not so much even about needs, it's also what we want, right? I mean, when was just take a moment here, maybe put one hand on your heart, one hand onto your lower belly, and ask yourself, when was the last time you said what you wanted? And just breathe into that for a second. And if you can't remember the last time, that's absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong with that. It's what we can do now just to really start prioritizing yourself again. Because I remember very well when, especially the first 2 years at least, I did not prioritize myself at all. None. Absolutely nothing. But gradually I sort of realized that I'm not happy with, the life that I'm living. I can't put everyone else in front of me all of the time, and my needs and wants coming last. But that is usually at the end of the day when I'm absolutely shattered and don't have any energy anyway and just want to go to sleep. So I started to really do tiny shifts. And I think, especially if you're very much in the midst of it, that's what it's all about. It's just prioritizing yourself. And you listening to this podcast, that actually might be one of your ways that you are prioritizing yourself and start to reconnect to yourself. So, first of all, well done for being here. Whether you listen to this on a walk, at home, with your little one, I try not to swear. I can be a sweary person, but when I know that kids are around, usually not. But I guess I'll put a warning out if I do on the description. But just taking time for yourself to listen to this podcast, that in itself is an act of prioritizing yourself and your needs and your wants. And as I just said, it's not about big things, especially not in the beginning. It is very much the little things, what you can do. So when I started to sort of really realize that I'm not doing anything for myself anymore, that I don't know who I am, and that the person that I'm being is not really the mum that I want to be, the woman that I want to be. One of the things that I realized for myself is what I always really liked to do was journal. And I guess with the newborn bubble and everything else, that is something that I stopped completely doing. And there was a point I was doing, I want to say a course for a business, but business courses are never just for business. So we were doing, it was a course I was doing, and within that I was like, I love journaling, and I was like, why am I not doing this anymore? And I guess there was a point where it's just like, I want her to see me journal, I want her to see me do certain things, because obviously that will shape her, my daughter's when I say her, it's my daughter's reality. So I literally started to journal in front of her. So she would sit next to me, and on the sofa, and I would just journal, and she would play or watch TV or read or whatever. And I guess that's how I started bringing like little bits of me back. So if you're very much in the depth of it right now, it's just like, is it, for example, journaling? Is it doing some movement, doing some yoga, or going for a walk? Because these are all things that I like really realised I was almost being a different person as a mum. All of the things that I loved doing, I wasn't doing anymore. So I've always been like really outside, really active, like walking, etc. And all of a sudden I have a child, and I'm just like, oh, I need to entertain her. I can't do these things. I can't do X, Y, Z. And there was literally a point where I'm just like, no, I will take her out because I want to go out in the woods, and I want to go out wherever I go for a walk. And for me, I'm not saying every mum is like that, but I very much almost completely shut myself off, like the woman that I was, and I felt like I needed to be this perfect mum, that does everything for her child and entertains her 24/7, and just creates this like perfect memories and all of that. But by trying to like create all of these things, like for my daughter, I myself was completely lost, and as I said, not the person, like not the woman that I would, like we're never going to be that woman that we were before we were having kids, because that giving birth or having children is like such an initiation in itself into motherhood. So, but yeah, like I was doing absolutely what felt like nothing that I wanted to do. So I slowly but surely just started doing these things, like even if it was just, like I said, like starting to journal every day again, doing some movement, some exercise, whatever it was, just to slowly connect back to the parts of me and do the things that I love to do. And there were probably about like loads of things that I used to like, and now I just don't anymore, and that's fine. It's just, I guess, also finding out what you now like. And this is what we have to, I guess, do to like prioritize ourselves, because we can't, there's only so much we can give until we like break down and burn out. And we as mums, like obviously our children don't want to see us like that, our family doesn't want to see us like that, we don't want to see ourselves like that. So that's why it's so important to really prioritize ourselves. And some of the, I was just thinking, like maybe I'll share like some of the things that I do at the moment. And I guess these kind of things always change with, I guess, the season that we're in within motherhood. I don't think some of those, maybe some of those, like I wouldn't have thought of any of those in like newborn days. My newborn days were just about survival, I think. So it was just such a shock to the system. But I'm actually going to record a separate podcast about like the initiation into motherhood. But like some of the things that I do now is like, for example, a daily sit. So also I guess like going 2 steps back, I wasn't getting any time for myself alone. So I made a very conscious decision during the week to get up at 5 o'clock, to get hopefully an hour, fingers crossed, it really depends on Sophia. Sometimes it's like 20 minutes, sometimes it's a whole hour. But to get like some time to myself, to just be me. Because she's very clingy, let's say. She's very much, she's always there. So clingy is probably not the right word, but she's always there, and she's very intense. So, and I felt for myself that I was like really getting overstimulated. I couldn't regulate myself anymore, let alone regulate her. So I made a very conscious decision for myself, and I'm not saying this works for everyone. I'm just a really early. I always get up early anyway. So during the week I get up at 5 o'clock to really just journal. And as part of that, what I also do is what I call a sit down. And I really I have like this little corner it's in the living room, it's part of my office space, I guess, where I have like a meditation cushion, and it's just my little, I almost want to call it my safe corner. It's actually where I record all of my podcasts, including this one at the moment as well. I come here every morning and just sit, like no meditation, no nothing. I just sit. I drink my coffee, have the monitor in front of me. Sometimes, most of the times actually, I close my eyes. Maybe I like place a hand on my womb space. Maybe I, connect with my guides, or I just sit here and let like the thoughts and the feelings just pour out, essentially. And this practice alone has been a game changer for me, just because I just have a space, like literally a physical space and a space and time to just be me, and not to be climbed on or shouted at or hearing "Mom." So, and sometimes it's like 5 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes. I don't set a timer or anything, and it's just whenever it feels right for me, I just stop. As I said, I can't imagine me having done that in the newborn days, and just like talking about this and just like how I carved out this hour-ish, I feel like I've come like such a long way just by doing that. And these, like, by no means am I telling you need to take out an hour of your day to be by yourself. I'm not saying that. You need to find what's right for you, what works for you. And this is why I'm sharing these things with you, just to give you some ideas. One of the other things that I guess I do for myself, to prioritize myself, and this is very controversial, is I work in front of my daughter. And this will not be something for everyone, for every mum, and that's perfectly fine. So for me, when, I guess the first 2 years, especially the first 2 years, maybe, 2.5 years-ish, all she saw of me was being mum. That's all she saw. She never saw me work because I was working either when she was napping or when she was asleep at night. And there was a point where I was just like, as much as I love being mum, I am more than mum though. I'm not just mum. And I want her to understand that. She'll always be my number one. She'll always have the priority. Let's face it, she's my daughter. But she needs to know that I'm prioritizing myself, my dreams as well. And I wanted her to watch me work for my dreams and achieve my dreams and exceed them. And I also want her to be part of it. So for me, working in front of her is a very conscious decision. And by that, I don't mean I work all day in front of her whilst she's in front of the TV. No. We have little routines. They're changing anyway at the moment, but so I don't know how that's going to work out. But where at the moment I do some work in the mornings when she is in the living room, watching TV, and then after lunch she watches about half an hour TV as well, just instead of sleep time, I guess. That's when I do some work as well. Not every day, but most of the time I do. And she doesn't know that I work, and she watches me, and there is I think I did a video as well of it, but there is a hilarious, definitely picture of her where I was on a call in the evening when it's that was before bedtime, and she has some stepping stones. She got the stepping stones, put them in front of the coffee table, got her little a wooden laptop, her coffee mug and everything, her headset, and sat down and was copying me. It is hilarious to see, and it's also for me really nice to see that she's part of this journey, because we have, as a family, we have big plans, and also plans that are not necessarily within the mainstream. So that's where I'm leaving it at for the moment, I think. But yeah, so something that I do for myself is literally work in front of my daughter. And these are ones that's literally just 2 half-hour, maybe 45-minute pockets. That's what it is. Another little thing that I do for myself, and I've actually I finished mine now, but I bought my favourite tea again. I have cacao, and I make make these teas and cacao just for myself. And it's just a nice little ritual. The cacao usually I don't make around her because the way that I do it takes a lot of time. So, but the tea, my daughter, she doesn't know any different. She just thinks I have a drink. But for me, it's almost like a little homecoming. Just yep, this is for me. This is my favourite tea, and it may be slightly more expensive than I would have liked it to be, or not necessarily that I liked it to be, but that I would normally spend on myself. But it's my little bit of self-care. And I think this is one of the things that, especially if you're early on within your motherhood journey, that's definitely something that you can do, I think. Another little thing to reconnect to, especially my body, is just placing my hands on my womb space. Just do this now and just breathe into your hands. And just notice just really how this feels for you. And it might be the first time that you've actually placed your hands there since giving birth. And if there are any thoughts coming up, just let them come up and just let them go again. And just really notice what it does to you, I guess. And this is what I guess, a practice that I do a lot during the day now. I never used, I didn't, I guess I didn't know about this practice. I call it a practice. I mean, it's simply just placing your hands on your lower belly over your room space. Like, I mean, if you have a, yeah, just place your hands there wherever it feels good. And as I said, I never used to do that when I was a new mum. But now I do it all of the time. It just helps me like reconnect back to the here and now, to my body. And it's a nice little thing that you can really, really do. And another thing, this is actually the last thing. I did say like when I did my notes, it was number 5, but because I went in the whole like early, getting up earlier, I guess you could have more than 5 points. But the last point is like, for me to reconnect to myself is actually going outside, connecting to nature. So may that be into the garden, outside for a walk, into the woods, whatever it is for me. It's just also moving the body for me is, and that's what I mean by going outside, like having a walk, having a play around. You know, take your kids with you. Like that's what I do with Sophia. We go to our local national trust and we just have little adventures. Or she just goes to the playground, which is fine as well. We're still outside. So, but it's just finding little things that work for you. And things like having like your favourite coffee, tea, cacao, your favourite drink that you can actually have throughout the day. That is like really, if I would have like thought of that and like really known about that when I was a new mum, I so would have done that, and I would have sort of taking like just making that cup or that drink and then drinking that drink, just like really like, yes, that's for me, I'm still here, you know, the woman within me is here and I'm nourishing her now with, you know, what I've got, with all of the little ways that I can nourish her. Because that's the like thing is, especially as within motherhood, I think there is a lot of emphasis about big things and you need to do these big elaborate things, but it's about the everyday, what you can do every single day. It doesn't have to be the same, but like that's why I really like having those drinks, like placing my hands on my womb space, over my womb space. There's probably so many things that I do automatically without even thinking about it. I'm literally just trying to think about it. I mean, I have a lot of times my hands are actually on my chest over my heart, just to, I guess, have that connection as well. But it's just looking at the tiny things that you can do for yourself. And if you, as I keep saying, if you don't know where to start, just get your favourite drink and have your favourite drink, whatever that may be. And just start out from there. And then maybe add some, you know, womb connection to that. Maybe heart womb connection. And then you can start, you know, that's a good start to actually reconnect yourself, to your body, to your soul, like that woman inside of you that we think that we've lost or forgotten. We haven't. It is still there. Thank you so much for joining me today for this lovely conversation about reconnecting to ourselves and staying with me for this long. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with any other mother that you think would benefit from this conversation. I think the more mothers are really reconnected with that woman within and are not just mothers, they are woman and mother and all of the other million roles that we play, the better it is. And if you want to know more about me or what to do, then have a look in the show notes, including my free Woman Within letters that come out every single week for you to sign up there if you want to have a little love note in your email every week. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week.